All right, it is 5 o'clock. Good evening to everybody. Thanks so much for jumping on and joining us for our first ever virtual Meet the Teacher. We are figuring it out. We are trying to figure out the best way to get to meet all of our parents and all of our kids and get all the information to you. And so please make sure, if you haven't already figured out where the Q&A stuff is at the bottom of your Zoom screen, that you click that if you have any questions. All of us are watching it and participating there, so we can answer your questions. If you do it through the Q&A part, then we can save that. Everybody can see it. And then we can also make sure that it gets posted for anybody who wasn't able to make us, because we are recording. So with that being said, my name is Audra Floyd. If you don't know me, I am the principal here at the secondary campus, and I have been at LPS since the first year that we opened, have grown with it. I started as a special education teacher and became the assistant principal and then the principal, and now we're here. I've been here since we split as the principal. I have Angela Stewart on tonight also. She is my assistant principal, and her camera is not working. So hopefully she's going to be able to log on at some point this evening so that you can see her face and see what she looks like. I'm going to introduce everybody real quick so that you know who they are, and then I'm going to talk a little bit and then hand it off. So I'm going to go in order on my screen. I have Mr. Strauss. He is a math teacher in 5th grade. He's been with us for several years. And he also coaches baseball with us. So if your kids are interested in that, he loves to talk about that. Would love to talk baseball whenever. Tracy Weaver is she's teaching a lot of things. So I'm going to let her explain what she does when she gets to talk later. Linda Del Sol is one of our humanities teachers, English and history. Erica Morgan is science. Chelsea Salinas, she was here, so I'm sure she'll pop back on in a few minutes. She's doing science also. And then Miss Ray, Laura Lee Ray, she joined the 5th grade team this year as well, and she will be doing ELA, I believe. So I'm going to let all of them talk about themselves when they get to their spot, but just so that they have a small introduction. So I want to first just kind of talk about some nuts and bolts of what's happening next week with the Chromebook pickup. So on Monday from 12 to 12:45 is 5th grade's window. If your student needs a Chromebook and you're doing online instruction, that is when you can come by and get one. Please make sure that you have gone on to My School Bucks, you have paid that $10 fee, and then all you need to do is you can either show us on the screen of your phone that you paid for it, or if you want to print out the receipt or the email or whatever and bring that, that's fine too, or give it to somebody else, whatever, that's fine too. Either way works. That's all we need, and we'll be able to hand you a Chromebook. That fee basically pays for insurance just in case anything happens, all that kind of stuff, and then you would just bring it back at the end of the school year, or if we get to come back earlier than that. That will be on from 12 to 12:45. Now 5th grade has some stuff. They want to make sure that you have some books and that you have a couple of other things. So they're also going to be passing out some of that. So if you are online and you don't need a computer, they still want you to come by if you're able. If you're not able to come by in that window, then just shoot an email and make an appointment to come by and grab it from the front office. But that's when we're going to be mass putting everything out there. And want to make sure that you get everything that you need. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to drop something in the chat, or in the Q&A box, or shoot one of us an email. And then finally, I just kind of want to talk about what we're doing to get ready for you guys. We are cleaning a lot. So because of the mandate that the governor has put out, saying basically if you're indoors and you're with people in any vicinity inside of a room, you have to wear a mask. So all this week, while the teachers have been back in service, they have been wearing masks. And we are double duty cleaning all of the high traffic areas and surfaces. We are also, they have these, they look like Ghostbuster packs, these backpacks that spray some water vapor that has the stuff that, you know, kills all of the viruses and everything that could, you know, flu, I mean, everything. So everybody should be super healthy this year if they're coming into this building. That's happening multiple times a day. And then overnight, we are basically fogging the whole building to super clean and make sure that everything is ready for the next day. Along with that, we do need to make sure that your kids know that they have to wear a mask while they're in here. The only time that they'll be allowed to take it off will be when they're eating lunch and when they go outside. And when they are outside and they don't have to wear a mask, they still need to maintain that social distance. So please just have a discussion. I know we've all been living in COVID world for the last 6 months, so they kind of probably already know what the requirements are, but just kind of remind them that this is for their safety. It's for, you know, the staff's safety. Everybody just wants to make sure that we're all staying healthy. So with that in mind, also, I want to make sure that you are screening your child before they come to school. Please make sure and ask them if they are feeling well. If they're not, you know, ask them some questions. Please make sure you're taking their temperature. If you don't have a thermometer, and you don't have the means to go get one, we are buying a bunch to be able to give out to families that need them. So if that's something that you need, please let me know. Shoot me an email and I will get you on that list. We are going to send out a formal email, but if that's something already in your brain, you can go ahead and send me an email. If they're sick for whatever reason, the teachers are making sure that classes are very easy to transition between in-person and online. So if they're sick and they have the flu, it's fine for them to switch over to Synchronous and not really miss anything. If they're feeling, you know, okay, they can still participate online so that they don't get behind. That's absolutely an option, okay? Please, please, please do not send your kids sick. We will send them home. So please make sure that you are screening them and, you know, just making sure that they're healthy before they come in. So with all that being said, we are all really, really excited about getting your babies into our school. We have missed seeing kids and are ready for them to come in. So we have made lots of preparations. Your teachers are going to fill you in on all the funness that is 5th grade in this building. And I'm going to let Miss Weaver take over the show.
All right. Hello, it's so nice to meet you guys. And I am Tracy Weaver, and I have been here at LPS this is my 4th year. So I'm really excited. I love it here. And I can't wait to meet your students either online or in person. So the first thing that we want to go over is math. And so this year, we're doing it, of course, several different ways, online and in person. So I'm going to let Mr. Strauss take over discussing a little bit of math this year, and then I'll come back after he is finished.
Thank you, Mrs. Weaver. I'm Mr. Strauss. This is also my 4th year at LPS. And just when you think you've gotten to a good groove, everything changes. So I'm excited, though, to have both in-person students and online students. It's going to be a great challenge for us. The teachers are going to learn a lot, as well as the students. And I'm going to be posting a lot of videos, a lot of links. Everything will be on Echo for you guys. We have been planning a lot through Echo, and so you'll get links to videos, links to assignments, and we will make sure that we communicate everything to you. We will communicate, over communicate at times on what's expected, and we are going to have a phenomenal year together. Like Mrs. Floyd was saying, we are planning as if some of you are going to start in person and move online, or be online and move in person. So we are taking that into account when we plan our courses. And when we have in-person students, they might look like an online class at times. So we're going to be taking all of those things into account. It's going to be a very different, unique year, and we're excited. We're ready. So that's all for me, I think.
Thank you, Mr. Strauss. I also want to let you know that I am also going to be teaching math this year, and I will be teaching the in-person math. for two of the classes. So Mr. Strauss and I are definitely going to be working together so that everyone, no matter if you're online or in person, you are getting the same information, same curriculum. If you need to move from one to the other, you will still be able to have that fluid lesson within each thing. So hopefully that answers some math questions. We're going to go ahead and move on to ELA. And so I am also teaching a English class in person, and so is Mrs. Del Sol. So I'm going to let her, if you would like to say anything, Mrs. Del Sol, you are welcome to at this time.
Well, I'm excited about being here. This is my 6th year at LPS. And the one thing that I want to say is that I should have mute hers, that we truly are a family. So we're really looking forward to your kids being here, being a part of the family. Many of them already have. You were in 4th grade here at LPS. I'm going to be teaching English language arts, like Ms. Weaver said. I'm also going to be teaching social studies, and social studies is one of my favorite subjects, and I hope to make it your students' favorite subjects too, because it's not about dry history. It's about learning things that happened in the past, applying it to now, also learning our own history as individuals. So it's going to be really exciting. It's going to be a lot of fun. I am doing the social studies for in-person classes. So the students that are coming onto campus, I will be their teacher. And again, as Mr. Strauss and everyone has said, we're very flexible. I may be doing some online if some of the students are not well and they need to go to Synchronous. So I'm also going to be doing communications. That's one of the electives that all the 5th graders will have. So I'll be teaching communications with several of my colleagues. So I'm really excited to be a part of the LPS family and looking forward to having you guys be with us. And that's all I have, Ms. Weaver.
Thank you, Mrs. Del Sol. And so I also wanted to play you a video from Mrs. Ray. Ms. Ray was unable to be here, but she did record a video, so I'm going to share my screens and play that video for you at this time. Is not working. Okay, we'll come back to that in just a moment. Not sure why that is not working. So it is not letting me share my screen. Like I said, I will also be teaching an ELAR in person, and I was able to teach English last year, all English, and so I'm excited that I at least get to teach one class of that. Miss Ray, who is joining us from, she taught here last year, but she did teach upper students. She has moved down to the 5th grade, and she is phenomenal. She's incredible. She will be doing all the online ELA for our current students.
Try it again, Tracy.
Yes, Mrs. Floyd?
You can try the video again, see if it will work.
Sorry, what'd she say? I didn't have my volume on. I'm sorry, can you repeat that? Sorry.
Try one more time and see if the video will work.
Okay, thank you. Perfect. Okay. Okay. All right.
Hello, awesome 5th grade parents. My name is Miss Ray, and I'm so excited to be your student's teacher this year. This school year, I will be teaching all of the English classes that are being offered online. I can't emphasize enough how much I respect the hard decision that each of your families had to make regarding the start of this school year. I myself am a mother of 2 children. I have a 14-year-old son, James, who is going into the 8th grade, and an 8-year-old daughter, Emily, who's going into the 3rd grade. I know the decision to have your child attend courses online was not one that any of you took lightly, because I was in the exact same boat. I scrutinized this decision. I went back and forth many times, and I know that you all did the exact same. I'm going to ask each of you for a little help as we start the school year together in an entirely new way. Please communicate with me. is struggling or frustrated, please let me know. If your child is having a hard time with any of the online materials, please let me know. If your household is having connectivity issues or other unforeseeable complications, please let me know. I'm an excellent communicator with parents because, as a parent myself, I understand how important the parent-teacher relationship is and how much it can affect a student when things are hard. And things are hard right now. Please know that my door, which is really my email, is always open and I am always here to help. To give you a little bit of background on myself, I have a bachelor's degree in journalism and English and my master's degree in creative writing and poetry. So basically I can read and write really, really well. I made the switch to teaching exactly 15 years ago after having worked for newspapers and magazines, and I've absolutely loved every minute. I have to tell you that I love teaching online. I enjoy technology, and I really enjoy the one-on-one feeling that video classrooms have the ability to create between me and my students. That's not to say that I know everything and have all the answers regarding what we're about to embark on, but it does mean that I am absolutely positive that we will figure it out together as we move ahead. My fellow teachers often describe me as a teacher who sets the bar high for her students. This is very true. I always hold my students to very high expectations. And the fun part is helping them acquire the skills and the analytics so that they can achieve more than they thought they could. My favorite moment in teaching is the moment when I can encourage and cheerlead a student to go beyond what they thought they could, beyond anything that they have ever accomplished in the past, and embark on an entirely new level of learning. There is really no greater feeling in the world. Fifth grade English classes will have a strong focus on reading comprehension and writing. My philosophy is always that great readers make great writers. We'll work to advance your students' analytical abilities and teach them how to take those thoughts and create a written composition. And of course, as one of LPS TEDx organizers, you can bet that my students are going to learn a thing or two about presenting those papers along the way. It's been a wild ride to get here, but I know that it's going to be a very awesome year. I'm excited to embark on this journey together with you and your child. And if there's anything that you need, please feel free to reach out at any time. Thank you so much.
All right, so. So that was Miss Ray, and like I said, she is an incredible English teacher who is joining us in the fifth grade. So now we're going to move on to social studies, and where we have we have several teachers teaching this year, and we have Mrs. Del Sol. She'll be teaching the in-person students, as well as I will be teaching a social studies class as well in person. And so I'm going to give you back to Mrs. Del Sol and let her tell you a little bit more about that.
Okay, I did talk about that a little bit earlier, so you might be wondering, she wasn't sitting there a minute ago. Mrs. Salinas' camera is not working, and so I was thinking they were going to science next, so she was sitting here at my computer, but we'll get back to science. So for social studies, as I said earlier, it's one of my favorite subjects, and one of my goals is to instill in students just a love for learning, that they're not a bucket to be filled, but a fire to be ignited. And so I like to use social studies to help ignite that fire in them as they learn about different time periods, different cultures, and seeing how it all impacts the life that we have now. So that's just like a little tease about social studies. So I hope that gets you and your students like, ooh, wow, I want to learn more about that, and looking forward to having a good time in social studies. And so as Ms. Weaver said, I'm not the only social studies teacher, so there's several of us who are teaching it. I'm going to be teaching it primarily for the in-person students. So those students that will be coming onto campus, I get the privilege to hang out with and talk about things of the past and how they impact us now and in the future. And Ms. Weaver is also teaching social studies, so she's also a history aficionado. She loves social studies, so I'm sure she has some great things to share with you about her approach to it.
Thank you, Mrs. Del Sol. Our online counterparts for social studies are going to be Miss Ray. She is going to be teaching online social studies, and Miss Salinas will also be teaching a section of online social studies. So I'm going to let Miss Salinas tell you a little bit about her, but we're also going to move on to science and let you hear from our science teachers, which are going to be Mrs. Morgan and Mrs. Salinas.
Hi. Hi, everyone. Just to let you all know, if you have asked questions in the Q&A and I haven't typed an answer in for you, I'm writing those down because those are questions that I think lots of parents want to hear the answer to, and so we kind of set aside some time at the end of this webinar to get to question and answers. So I promise I'm not ignoring your questions. I'm writing them down, and now that I'm speaking to you, it's Ms. Weaver's turn to start writing questions down. So, and there she goes, to start writing questions down so we can get to them later. And I'll introduce me. I'm Erica Morgan. This is going to be my 6th year at Leadership Prep, and I am starting my 20th year as a teacher. So when your children get to my room on the first day, or when I see them online, I can literally tell them that I have been teaching twice as long as they have been alive. I have my Bachelor of Arts from the University of Texas at Arlington in English. I have my master's degree in Educational Leadership and Policy Studies, also from the University of Texas at Arlington. And science is my favorite. I have taught self-contained classrooms. I have been just an English teacher in a departmentalized classroom. I've been just a math teacher in a departmentalized classroom. And what I love about teaching science is that we get in here and we get to make messes and solve problems. And so if you're listening very, very carefully, I would like you to invest in some good laundry detergent because we do require uniforms, and we would like your children to have them clean when they arrive in class after they have messed around in soil in my class. And Miss Salinas, anything to add? Miss Salinas, who is in a box labeled Linda Del Sol.
Hi, I am Chelsea Salinas. This is my first year-ish. I came in halfway through the year last year, and I moved down to 5th grade this year. I'm so excited to be with the 5th graders this year. I'll be teaching social studies, science, and communications. I am teaching all online because at the moment I am expecting in November and we'll be going on maternity leave, but we have an awesome sub lined up when it comes time.
Okay, so it looks like we have, looking over the meeting agenda, we have reached the end of the teacher introductions part of the agenda. And so a moment ago, when I said I was writing down questions that y'all are posting, this is now the time that we are going to have the opportunity to answer those questions for you if they haven't yet been answered in the chat boxes. Several of you listed questions in there about school supplies, where do I pick up school supplies, or where do I find the school supply list? As you already know, LPS is not having parents pay a student supply fee this year, and so there are some items that we are going to need for our classes. What we're going to do for you tomorrow at approximately 2 p.m. is we're going to send you all a newsletter, and that newsletter will have links to everyone's syllabus. So the supplies that you need for classes will be on the syllabus, and there's also going to be a little box in that newsletter for you. So watch out for your email so that you know about school supplies. 5th grade, anything to add about that before I move to the next question?
Pencils.
Please bring
Pencils.
Lots and lots of pencils. There were also several questions about ECHO credentials and when they would be sent home. And Ms. Floyd, can you kind of discuss that for a second?
So the email that was sent out, I don't know if it would have said Ms. Aguilar, if it would have been from social, the social at lpsfrisco.com or net, but basically it had a generic password in there that everybody has when they when we do it, when they had their first account. So that was in there, and then your credentials should be, like mine would be A Floyd, so it's your first initial last name, and that's how it works. If your student has, you know, like we have more than one Patel, say, and you know, that's a Patel, then there's usually either a middle initial that's put in there or there's a number. So if that credential is not working for you, then will you please email ECHO admin, ECHO admin, ADMIN, at lpsfrisco.com, and they can help work out and pick out what it is specifically. But most students, it will be their first initial, last name, and then the generic password that was in that email. That all of those videos that she sent out will also be linked in Miss Morgan's email, so that you will have that again if you happen to miss the last one. And then we will also make sure that her email gets posted on the 5th grade website. So if for some reason you're not getting our emails, please make sure that you let the front desk know. Give them a call or shoot them an email and say, I'm not getting them, please add me. And then we'll make sure that our system gets updated, and then also make sure that we're not getting blocked. Because a lot of times, because they're mass emails, make sure that social at lpsfrisco.net is not being blocked, or social at lpsfrisco.com is not being blocked. Because a lot of times we go to people's trash, and we're gonna rely on that information. And I will always really try when I send something out to also send a text message that says, hey, make sure you look at your email. And I really try to put it also on Facebook and on Twitter. So please make sure that you haven't unsubscribed from our text reminders. And then also make sure that you are following our Instagram, that you're following our Twitter, that you're following our Facebook, because those will be lifelines for you to know what's going on quickly. Did I answer a question?
Yes.
A lot. Okay.
So the next question that's come up a couple of times is, it's been worded differently. Y'all are asking, who is my child's teacher? Who is my child's homeroom teacher? And that is because in 4th grade, y'all had homeroom teachers. We don't have what we consider a homeroom at the secondary campus. And so the first day of school, when your child enters the building, they will immediately go to their first period class. And if they are an online learner, they must be logged in to their first period class on time in order to be considered on time for their first period class. So students will not be entering the building to go to homeroom to have attendance taken. We take attendance in every class. So they start the day in Mod 1 or first period, and they rotate through their teachers according to the schedule. So the answer to the question, who is my child's teacher? The answer is probably all of us are your child's teacher, or many of us are your child's teacher, in addition to some electives teachers. 5th grade, do y'all have anything to add to what I said there? I'm seeing a bunch of
sorry,
yes.
I was going to, if we are to use a homeroom type, we do have something you'll see on your schedule. It's called Habit 3. That is a time where it's kind of like a study hall, and a time where if we need a tutor or work with students, and that will be a time when that teacher can kind of check in with many of those students. We will also do what we call advisory groups at that time. So that's if you wanted to have something that resembled homeroom, that would kind of be it. Should be also, I think the schedules are a little messed up, but it's going to be probably their third mod teacher. Thank you.
Ms. Floyd, I think this next one is coming up for you. Can we change our electives? If so, how?
So the electives are going to be pretty much locked in, but right now I believe the schedules are only showing 2. So that means that they'll have one of them the first semester and one of them the first 9 weeks and one of them the second 9 weeks. The next semester hasn't been loaded yet, so they will get 2 more. They rotate through 4 of the electives so that they get the opportunity to see all of the things, so that when they get, or most of the things, so that when they get to 6th grade, then they kind of have an idea of what they want to go into or try. So your student will be loaded into 2 more. But since it was not until next semester, I don't think that that's been at the top of her list as we're trying to put kids in, register them for this semester. So what I would say is that what we can probably do is tell you the way that it flows. I will put that, I can put that on the, I can put that in the email that go, or I can give that to Miss Morgan and she can put it in her email. How about that? Because everybody else in the whole school doesn't need to know that. So I will give that information, that rotation. So if you have these 2, then you will have these other 2 next semester so that you can see that. But they are grouped by in class. So those kids that they are in class with, they don't see anybody else, and we did that just to kind of contain them. And so they're gonna, all of those kids are going to be in the same math class together, in the same ELA class. They're going to all have the same teacher for elective, for each 9 weeks. So they're already kind of grouped, and that those kids were, what we tried to do was at least pick 2 of the electives that your child wanted. So if they aren't on their schedule now, it's probably on their next semester. But I will get the order for each group to Miss Morgan so she can send that out.
Okay. Next question that came up after changing electives is drop-off and pickup procedures. There were a lot of parents who said that the notification that went home seemed like it was written for parents who had been to LPS last year, and so perhaps not really sure where to pick up and drop off their student. So if you were at LPS last year, you entered the property at that driveway that's in between the ELC church and the secondary building, and you drove all the way down, and when you got to the end, you turned left. Wait, I'm on screen, so maybe that's left. Y'all know what I mean. To get to the elementary building, you turned left. To get to the secondary building, you will turn right, and there will be a coned off path for you to follow, and you will continue to follow that until you reach the south end of the building. Once you reach the south end of the building, please open your car doors and allow your students to leave and enter the doors and go to their first period class. At the end of the day, that is also where students will be picked up. And so a link to an app is forthcoming so that when you pick up your child, you can enter your child's number, and we literally have screens in the classrooms that'll put the child's name up on the screen so the child will know when it is time to go outside to meet their cars. Did I miss anything about that, Ms. Floyd?
No, it should be super simple. If you look at our building, it's the overhangs at the south end. There's some tables and chairs underneath the little overhangs. The second one, basically, if you're driving up along the backside of the building and you pull up and you're facing teal now, and you're at that first overhang, is where the 5th graders will go in, because that hallway is the 5th grade hallway. So they will get out of their car, go underneath that, the southwest overhang, and that hallway is their hallway, and they will go into their first period from there. That's also how they will be dismissed. So they will go out that door right there, and that's how you will pick them up once you get here. And if you are a parent of a student that was here in 4th grade, you know how school dismissal manager works. You'll check in when you get here and their name will pop up. If you are new to us, then you will get an email that will give you all of the the lowdown on how you log in. Miss Capizzi is supposed to be loading all of the kids and all of the teachers tomorrow. So all of that information will go out in my e-blast tomorrow. The weekly e-blast will start back up tomorrow. So every Friday you will get an e-blast that goes home and around 4 o'clock, and it should have a little video at the top to kind of give you the highlights, and then it will have additional information in the bottom, but I usually try to highlight the things I really want to make sure that you read in the video, because I know sometimes we don't have the time to sit there and read an email for 15 minutes. So I try to hit all of the highlights in about a minute video for you, but that will be going out tomorrow afternoon.
All right. Do students need to wear uniforms if they are attending online classes? Yes. Nobody's going to ask them to stand up, though, to make sure their bottoms are khaki or navy blue, but I'm wearing a navy blue collared shirt with an LPS insignia. So if you are on camera with a teacher, when I say you, I mean your child, of course, you should be in the uniform because you are considered attending class, and when students are attending class, they're expected to be in their uniform. Again, 5th grade, is there something I missed about that? All right, moving on. Other than Echo, what apps do we use? I could list a lot, but the best thing that I could say to you to kind of put you all at ease is that whatever apps a teacher uses, whatever website a teacher uses, it will all be posted on their Echo agendas or on their Echo landing page, which you see as soon as you enter a class in Echo. And so as soon as y'all have gotten into Echo and you go to that teacher's class, you will see all of the apps right there that teacher uses. Because I have apps that I use for science that Mr. Strauss is never going to touch for math. And so we keep them separated by class for that reason. Again, my teacher friends, did I miss anything?
I want to mention Clever. So this year, because there are so many resources that we're trying to use for online for the teachers and for the students, we have partnered with a company called Clever, and it basically loads every app or every website that your student might possibly need. So I know, like for Miss Del Sol, she has some for social studies that she likes to use. You know, there might be a math website that Mr. Strauss likes. So everything is on there, and basically what it does is it remembers that after you've put in a password once, then it remembers the username and password forever. For the whole year, and then that way your student only has to remember their Google password. So every student will have a Gmail account that they can only email within the LPS network, so that they're able to email their teachers. And that username and password also works for Clever. And so the teachers will walk them through that as they get into Echo. So Echo is definitely the first step, but everything else will also be in Clever and easy to find. If you can't ever find it on Echo, or, you know, oh, I really liked that website and I want to go practice that skill again, what was it? It will be on Clever as well.
Okay, moving on. Someone asked if we use Parent Portal and Echo, or just Parent Portal, or just Echo. Parent Portal, as I understand it, is the way parents would check up on their students' grades when they were on the elementary campus, grades K through 4. We don't use that. All of the grades for all assignments will be posted on Echo. The only thing secondary teachers use what we call the grade book for is at the end of the 9 weeks to move grades from Echo to a report card. And so grades will be posted on Echo. Parent Portal is not used on the secondary campus at all.
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
About that real quick. So this year, because we have so few students in person, and we don't know what it's going to look like, so it might look like this all year, we Ascender, that Parent Portal where you went and looked for your child's schedule today, that is how you will get their report cards going forward, because we don't have any way to get them to you if your child doesn't ever come to campus. We used to print them and would send them home. Now they will all be through there. So the dates actually have already been loaded onto the Google Calendar that's available on the website. So if you want to subscribe to that, you can see all of the things that we have in there for you to participate in, or for your child to participate in, or just a heads up that grades are going to be coming out on this day. So if you want to see when all of that happens, that is already on there. So that day, just like you were able to log in today and look at schedules, that day their grades will be posted in there. But if you want to see them live time, you know, at any point during the semester or during the 9 weeks, Echo is the place to go.
So to kind of review, Parent Portal will be used at the end of the 9 weeks so that parents can look at report card grades. But if they want to see daily assignment grades, that would be Echo. Am I right? Okay, we got a thumbs up. Next, lots of questions about, can I switch from synchronous to asynchronous? Can I switch from online to in-person? Can I switch from in-person to online? And the answer is not right now. And I think Ms. Floyd can probably give us a little bit more about when that can happen and how that can happen if you choose to.
Yes, so if you are choosing to start online, that choice is locked in until the end of the first 9 weeks. Whether it's synchronous or asynchronous, you are online until the end of the first 9 weeks. If you are synchronous and you want to switch to asynchronous within the 9 weeks, that is acceptable. One time we can do that switch. Essentially a schedule change, the way that your child is loaded into the system, and it changes Echo courses and all sorts of stuff. So it's not just a really simple, easy thing to do. So we're only allowing that once within a 9 weeks to switch either from synchronous to asynchronous or vice versa, from asynchronous to synchronous. And then if you are start in person and you feel like you want to pull back and go to online, you are allowed to do that within one time during the 9 weeks. So let me review. So if you start online, you are online until the end of the 9 weeks. Towards the end of the 9 weeks, we will send out a survey that says, okay, it's 3 weeks before the end of the 9 weeks. Are you planning on returning? And you will return that and let us know what the plan is for your child. And then we'll go ahead and plan on them coming or not coming for the next 9 weeks. If you start online and you want to switch from synchronous to asynchronous or asynchronous to synchronous, you are allowed to do that one time. If you start in person and want to go online, you are allowed to switch to that one time within the 9 weeks.
All right. Anything else to add to that before I move on? Okay. A couple of questions in the Q&A about students bringing their personal phones or personal devices to school. Here's what the policy is on that. The answer is yes, but as far as cell phones are concerned, the policy states they are expected to be off or on silent during the school day. We used to have students store them in the hall, but because of some changes that are happening with our COVID precautions, students are bringing their backpacks to class. And so the phone would be in the backpack, either turned off or on silent during class. We ask parents, please do not text your child during class because it is a violation of our policy. And then the teacher might have to confiscate the phone according to the policy. However, if you do need to reach your child during the first 5 minutes of the lunch period, students are allowed to take out their phones, power them up, check their messages, and then after the first 5 minutes, they are turned back off so they can check messages kind of in the middle of the day at lunch, and then also check messages once they leave the building. If you want them to have a device that's not a phone, like a personal laptop or your own personal Chromebook or iPad, yes, you can do that. However, we've seen that students kind of have an easier time of it if they have the school-issued devices. So if it's something you want to try, the answer is yes, but we got it covered if you don't want to try. Ms. Del Sol, your eyebrows are going like this, like I just said something really weird. Do you need to correct something?
No, I was looking at questions.
Oh, okay. Well, speaking of questions, here's the next one. Will online synchronous students be in the classroom at the same time as in-person students? Not in 5th grade, no. The way we worked out our schedule is that teachers will have dedicated in-person synchronous time, dedicated, I'm sorry, I said in-person synchronous time. What I meant to say was dedicated online synchronous time for their classes. They will have dedicated in-person time, and then they will meet the needs of the asynchronous kids. Since the asynchronous kids get to set their own schedules, then they will receive teacher feedback at a variety of times. Anything to add to that?
Well, I was going to add that we will have them separate, as Mrs. Del Sol and I are the primary in-person teachers, and Mr. Strauss and Mrs. Morgan are part-time in-person teachers. And but once those in-person classes are filled, and we're hoping that everyone will begin to come back, and if that is possible, then we will begin to put the overflow, not the overflow, but as those classes fill, then we will begin to put them into the online classes, and those will be small until they begin to grow. So there may be a point, depending on just how it all works out, there may be a point where there is a very small class with some online students.
What will students online students use to log into their classes and be seen virtually? All of that information is going to be coming at you tomorrow when we send that newsletter with all of the links and information. That wasn't so hard. Ms. Floyd, what is the difference between synchronous and asynchronous? Do we have an option? I know the difference between synchronous and asynchronous, but I don't know about the next part of the question. So synchronous students are the ones who will follow a schedule, and the difference between being in person and following a schedule and being synchronous following a schedule is that the synchronous learners will be following their schedule from home. And so they will log on to their online classes starting at 8:15, and they will log out of their online classes at 3:45. Asynchronous students will log on to Echo. They will go to their Echo agendas. They will have due dates, but they will be completing assignments on their own time as long as they are completed and turned in before the due date. Part of the option to select, though, I believe that went home as part of the survey where parents were asked to make their selection. And so the selection between synchronous and asynchronous has already been made. And Ms. Weaver,
if you had just accepted to get in, you may not have received that because the due date for it was at the beginning of July or the middle of July. So you would just need to reach out and let Miss Blaskowski know. April Blaskowski is our counselor. If you, I've also seen a couple of questions about, can we change between synchronous and asynchronous before school starts, or when I look at my students' schedule, it says that they're in synchronous and I wanted them to be asynchronous or vice versa. Just shoot an email to Miss Blaskowski and she can make that change before school starts. If there was a mistake or you didn't get the opportunity to select anything on the survey.
Ms. Weaver, I was about to turn it over to see if I missed any questions that you got, but I just saw one pop up that I really think we need to really talk about. As a parent coming from an ISD school, is there advice that you have? Your teaching methods will be better. Thank you. We think so too. Different and more advanced. My answer to that is, Mom's dad, I'm going to ask you to do something that's really, really hard. And I am a parent of a 5th grader, so I know how hard it is that I'm about to ask you to do this. Let them make mistakes. Let them learn from their mistakes. Let them try and solve things on their own. And if you see that they're not solving it the way that you would want to solve it, or they're going to completely baffle themselves at the end, the best advice we could give is to let them do it. One of our core ideas or philosophies here at LPS is autonomy, which means teachers teach the way we feel is best for our students, and the students learn the way they feel is best for them. And so part of that is allowing them to discover how they learn best. And part of that process is allowing them to make those mistakes and allowing them to, even, my goodness, come and speak to the teacher before going home and not knowing what to do with an issue. So that's the best advice that I would give to a parent of a student coming to LPS from an ISD school. And my daughter attends an ISD school. So my teachers, do y'all have anything to add?
I would definitely agree with that. And just to emphasize it, that, you know, the parents, this is an opportunity for your children coming into the secondary school. They're branching out. I know in elementary, it's just different. It's elementary. And so here in secondary school, we want them to start that transition as they go into middle school and high school. It's going to be a little scary. And of course, you're going to be there for them, but just know we're here for them too. And we want them to, as I said earlier, we want to ignite that love for learning. And so that means, as Ms. Morgan just said, they're going to make mistakes. They're going to try new things, and we want them to in terms of their learning. We're going to have them doing research. Again, they're not a bucket that we're going to fill. We're going to have them dig deep and find out information on their own. And sometimes it just doesn't work. You know, it's like, well, I tried that. It's like Thomas Edison said, you know, I know 10,000 ways not to make a light bulb. And so he didn't see that as failure at all. He saw that as part of his learning. And so we want you to let your children learn by experiencing, and sometimes, I'm going to say it, failing. You know, maybe they fail a test. Eeks! I know. I didn't say that earlier. I'm a homeschool mom. That's my claim to fame. I homeschool my children. And that was hard for me, even being at home with them when they didn't get something right. But if they were trying, if they had effort, if they have, you know, did what they thought was best, then I can turn that into a learning opportunity. And I can tell you, those are the skills that really stuck with them when they learned something and maybe they learned it because they didn't do it exactly right or exactly the way I would have done it. So I just wanted to emphasize what Ms. Morgan said, and just, you know, we're here for them. We're going to help them, and I know you're going to help them, but we also want them to kind of start branching out and learning and digging for information on their own.
Anything else? Ms. Weaver, are there any questions that you recorded that I didn't get to because I was busy talking?
I believe so. So I think one of the questions that has come up a couple times is you may have answered, but didn't use the same wording. So I want to make sure we clarify that. A lot of people are asking the ECHO domain ID. And so what exactly is that? And if you could maybe go over that again, because I think some people might have missed it.
Ms. Floyd, I actually have not heard domain ID referred to it.
I did write that down. We will, I don't have the number or whatever right in front of me, so we will make sure that goes out in the email that Ms. Morgan sends tomorrow, so that you have that information. It should be in the documents that Ms. Aguilar had put together on all of the ECHO stuff, but I don't have them right in front of me to be able to look. I'd have to take a second to look. Another question did just pop up about school supplies. Do the online students need them? And then the parent, another one just popped up about parent ECHO accounts. basically a parent echo account has all the same things as a student, except you just can't mess with stuff. So you can see all of the stuff that they have that they've turned in. As a parent, it's basically your student's username with a P at the end of it. So that should also be in Miss Aguilar's documents that she sent out to you.
If I can just add a word about the echo, I know you're going to get a lot of links. You're going to get all that information, but also know, particularly in a communications class, we're going to go over all of that with them. We're going to walk them through the videos that Mrs. Aguilar has set up, help them to sign in if they haven't, and they don't have to have already signed in by Wednesday. We're going to do that with them on Wednesday. I'm going to show them all of the ins and outs. We're going to have them do what we call Echo 101. So just to lower your anxiety, if you're getting a little stressed about, I can't sign in yet, my kid can't, don't worry about it. We got you covered. We're going to take care of that on Wednesday, especially in the communications class. We're going to use the bulk of that class to do that, but they're also going to go over it in all of their other subjects too. So don't worry, we're here for you. We're going to take care of you. Any other questions, Ms. Weaver, that we didn't get to?
Yes. We have, sorry, hold on one moment. Okay, the one question we had was, what are the times, the schedule for the synchronous? Like what time does each class start? So I thought maybe you could address when we'll send those out, or how they are going to get the times for each class.
That's actually something I had never thought of, and that is a fantastic thing to know that parents need to know. I will add that to the newsletter that y'all are going to receive tomorrow. I will put the class schedule on it so that y'all will know what time your fifth graders need to log on to their classes. So thank you for asking that, so that I know that y'all need to know.
Okay, and then another one was, do they need to pay the fee for the Chromebook if they are in person?
No.
If they want to take it home. It's available if they want to take it home, but if they don't want to take home the Chromebook, then no.
Let's see here. Oh, who will be teaching science online?
Miss Salinas will be teaching almost all of the science online, and I will be teaching some of the science online and all of the science in person. Did I get that right, Miss Salinas, or did I get it backwards? Sometimes when I talk about that, I get it backwards.
I'm teaching one science online.
Okay.
And then you're teaching the rest of them.
Okay. So another question was, what is the Facebook group name?
We don't have any staff.
The official the official Facebook is just the LPS Facebook, and I did drop it into somebody else answered that, so I dropped in the actual Facebook link. There are unofficial pages that parents have started, and if you type in, let's see, what is this? This is the class of 2028?
Yes.
Okay, so if you type in Facebook, Leadership Prep, class of 2028, there should be a Facebook page for parents, but it's not run by us, it's run by parents. So I can't guarantee that all the information will be super correct.
Oh, if they cannot, and I forgive me if you did answer this, but if they don't get the newsletter through their email, who do they need to contact to get on that list?
Miss Capizzi, Miss Krisha Capizzi, and I've dropped that also into her email address in there, but she's our registrar, and she will be able to fix anything in the system so that you will get our emails. I can tell you that all of the e-blasts that I send out do go on our website on the secondary page. There's an archive of them for the last year and a half, and then all of the ones that I've sent out so far this year are also there. And then also Miss Morgan, her emails also get put on the fifth grade page for you to look at as well. So as those go out, she links them. So if you ever are not getting something, you shouldn't go a week without getting something in your email from us, from probably both of us. So if you're not getting that, then definitely check with Ms. Capizzi, but the archives should be on the website for you to go and look at so that you don't miss anything.
Okay. Let's see here. I think that is all the ones. I'm still answering a few that are popping up through. And Ms. Dussel informed me that there are a few questions in the chat, so we will make sure to answer those. Let me look real quick. Oh, someone had a good question that I know we did not answer. And maybe somebody did because I don't see it here anymore, but it was basically if there's poor connection. Mrs. Floyd, did you answer that question? If there's poor internet connection, what will happen?
I did. So if your child is having an issue with poor connection as far as synchronously being able to log in, if you can, when you get an opportunity either from your phone or later on, just shoot an email to the teacher so that they know that that happened so that they can correct attendance, because they will be, the synchronous students will be having their attendance taken by us seeing their face. So if they're not there, then they will be marked absent. So we can always correct it. If they can get back on that same day and get their work done, then we can correct the attendance so that it shows that they were there. And it left my brain. So
there was another question on the chat about, it's okay, who do we send the email to if they can't make the Monday 12 to 12:45 pickup? That question was on the chat a couple times. So you might have answered that, but this is a recent question, so they might not have heard you.
I did. I put in there just to shoot an email to Miss Morgan. That way she can the team can get together everybody's packets of stuff. And then we will have that up at the front desk with a sticky note for your with your child's name on it so that you can come and grab it at a different time. It's just going to be quicker if you want to get to it for you to be able to come Monday afternoon, but it won't be, it may not be until after school starts if you can't get it on Monday. I can't guarantee that there will be stuff ready in time for Tuesday if you can't make the Monday time. But another person did also ask if I have 2 children and do I have to come to both times? No, if you have an older child, actually we would prefer that you come and pick up all of your student stuff at the older student's time. So this particular parent had said, I have an 8th grader and a 5th grader. Come at the 8th grader time if you have more than 1 child.
Sorry.
Yes, I'm going to answer this real quick. Miss Morgan's email address is emorgan@lpsfrisco.com. So E for Erica Morgan, and you can see her name in the Zoom call. Her name is there at lpsfrisco.com.
I'm just still answering a few questions, but that is all that I had written down that we haven't answered. So I guess anything else you guys see?
Yeah, I will just make sure that I pull all of the questions and answers so that I will upload it with this video so that everything will be answered in there too. If your question has not been answered, if you want to hang out for a second, then we can finish that up. But if not, thank you so much for logging on. We appreciate it, and we can't wait to see you all next week, either on the computer or in person.